पदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमां विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमाप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरविषे नमः नमो ब्रह्मण्य देवाय गौ ब्राह्मण हिताय च जगत हिताय कृष्णाय गोविंदाय नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे Hare Krishna. Very good afternoon to all the devotees present. So we'll start from this paragraph which is being displayed on the screen. So uh, can somebody volunteer to read?
Hare Krishna. Mataji, can I read?
Yeah, sure, Mataji, please.
Bhagavad Pranam Mataji. His Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada ki Jai. At the present moment, we are in a diseased condition. Materialistic do not know what is disease and what is health. They do not know anything, but still they are posing as great scientists and philosophers. They do not inquire, I do not want to die. Why is death enforced upon me? Nor do they have any solution to this problem, but still they call themselves scientists. What kind of scientists are they? Advancement in science should bring about knowledge by which misery can be minimized. Otherwise, what is the meaning of science? Scientists may promise that they can help us in the future, but we may ask them, what are you giving us right now, sir? A real scientist will not say, just go on suffering as you are suffering now. And in the future, we shall find some chemicals to help you. No, Atyanika Dukkha Nivrittihi. The word Adhyantika means ultimate, and Dukkha means suffering. The aim of human life should be to put an end to the ultimate sufferings. But people do not even know what these ultimate sufferings are. These sufferings are pointed out in the Bhagavad Gita as Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi, birth, death, old age, and disease. What have we done to nullify these sufferings? There is no remedy for them in the material world. The ultimate way to relinquish all kinds of sufferings is stated in Bhagavad Gita 8.15, where the Lord says, माम उपेद्य पुनर्जन्म दुःखालयम् अशाश्वतं नाप्नुवन्ति महात्मानः संसिद्धिं परमां गतः. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. Should I continue, Mataji?
Mataji, yeah, we'll pause here.
Yes, Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you. Dandavats.
So here, Srila Prabhupada is explaining that what is the gross ignorance. It is like ignorance is a biggest problem. It is being said the point when we acknowledge, oh, I'm having this issue, even in this material world, that these are the points. Say for a student who is studying, preparing for some entrance exam, and aiming, maybe studying mathematics. So until and unless the student comes to understand what are his weak points and what are his strong points, he cannot have any direction in his study, in preparation. So to know with the clarity that what is the problem I'm going through, that is the first step. Thing is that when we comes to know that this is the problem we are going through, the 50% of the problem is immediately solved, and the 50% will be solved because after knowing the problem, one will take right direction towards the goal. But here Prabhupada is what describing that the materialistic most of the people in this material world are materialistic. They even don't know what are the real problems of life. When we doesn't know, when we don't know that what are the problems, then how to find solution? And it is like that your eyes are closed, you are in dark, and you are just aiming anywhere. It's called hit and trial. Okay, let me put it is somewhat like if somebody goes to some exam and without any preparation and without knowing anything, or just blindfolded or with eyes closed, and there are the MCQs, multiple choice questions, and there are four options are there, and somebody doesn't know at all anything and just ticking or clicking anything out of four. This is called hit and trial. Okay, I just feel like let me tick on this particular option. So, and there will be negative marking also. So if you click if you choose wrong answers for 5 questions, and if you choose by luck, you choose one, you are able to attempt by luck one question correct, but you are going taking one step forward and going 10 steps backward. So this is the situation of in this material world. So without knowing the what are the problems, people are trying to work very hard. Now, even now, main problem starts with what Prabhupada is explaining. The problem that without knowing that who am I, why I am here, what's the purpose of life, and misidentifying ourselves with something which we are not. So that is a disastrous situation, because when we identify ourselves with this material body, this material designation, then all the time with this mindset, this materialistic mindset, we are trying to find comforts with regarding our body. And even though after so much scientific advancement, Prabhupada is mentioning here that if we ask scientists that what comfort we have generated till now with this scientific advancement, what is good going on? So they can point out many things. See, we have invented electricity. Now whole night we can even in midst of Amavasya, like very dark night also, when there is no moonlight or even, we can illuminate full ground, we can illuminate full towns. Now according to scientific community, it's a big advancement. But now what's the downside? Downside is that they now themselves are recognizing that, and not in the just this example, in every case, material advancement, material inventions, scientific inventions, what they're going, the downside is such a bigger than the positive side. It's like a one step ahead and maybe 100 steps back. So now downside of this electricity is what? One can say with electricity, now we are able to run very big factories. We are able to do such big work, which was so difficult earlier in medieval times. In previous times, um, people used to use what to say this all animals for labor, and now washing, say for a simple example at home also, We are able to grind anything in mixer grinder. We are able to wash easily amount of clothes nicely in washing machine, all different type of washing. This is a material advancement. But downside is that, but really, are we happy today? Even after getting all these material comforts, so-called material comforts due to electricity, are we happy? But the real downside is now people are so, actually electricity has made people sick. Now how it is now, we have heard about air pollution, we have heard about water pollution, we have heard about noise pollution, but have now that there is a new term in scientific community in medical science, new research topic is, it's the pollution of light. So now there is a rhythm in nature, and as sun rises, gradually there is sunlight, and then evening time sun sets, and then there is night. And same rhythm is there in our body also. That is called circadian rhythm, and that rhythm is there in animals also. So animals still try to follow. If we have observed the birds, and very timely they become active during Brahmurta, and then they go, and evening time they all come back to their nest, and then night time before sunset they just go to rest. Apart from some animals who are nocturnal animals which are active during night. But by the advancement of electricity, we also have become nocturnal now. Now we, for us, there is 24 hours are same. Even somebody can, and that's what people are doing. Even people are working in different shifts and different time zones. There are night shifts. So now what is this light pollution? And because of this, we are our circadian rhythm, the rhythm that exists in every, there is a rhythm in nature, and that rhythm resonates in us also, in our body also. So now because of that, that rhythm is not aligned. There is no alignment. People are become very hyperactive, people are full of anxiety, people have become restless. And now in current generation, now the most of the male generation, now it's the scientific research that shows that the male genetic material chromosomes are getting weaker. So 50% of children were taking, but especially male child, they're hyperactive. Now what is this hyperactivity? Hyperactivity is due to that um, broken rhythm in mind. So all this technological advancement, which are claiming to bring material comforts for this body, but actually it's causing thousand times. What to say, thousand times? Much more than that. Uh, Disturbance in mind. The light pollution has become such a big, all type of pollutions are there, but light pollutions is such a big nuisance that people even don't realize yet. So this is one example came to my mind, how this material advancement, scientific advancement is actually backtracking. This is what Srila Prabhupada is saying. Just go and ask them. They're talking about future. But 20 years before, they were inventing something, and which they have invented now, and which we are using also. But are we not suffering currently? Just go and ask that question. And if you say for medical science, it is like creating that type of civilization when everybody is bound to be more and more sick, and then medical research will come up with some medications with lot of toxicity. There is no cure for anything. They are claiming that due to this medical inventions and advancement, now they have prolonged the human life. And in some sense that is true also. In previous, maybe 100 years back, the average life expectancy was somewhat less. People used to, during epidemics, pestilence, people used to die in mass. Even during childbirth, even infants and mother used to sometimes used to lose their life. That was very common. But due to advancement of medical science, it's not so common, at least in urban areas. But it is like dying every day. Even a cancer patient, we see very uh, high stage cancer patient, if you have all type of resources, you can maybe prolong your life for 15-20 years. But that is really like living. And if one knows the real knowledge of soul and body, if your body, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is putting argument towards Arjuna, that even if you, when Krishna proves that we are not this body, as we change old clothes, that like in Dehi no Simin Yatha Dehe, Krishna is saying the same way this body will be changed and will transmigrate, the soul will take next body. So what's the cause of lamentation? Because the person, your grandfather and your teachers, they are very good people. They're pious people, Bhishma, Dronacharya. And if they are now old, even if they are, this body is old, like the old cloth is old, it's a torn. It's better to get a new garment. So Krishna is saying, so they are going to get good garment, new body, enlivened body. So what's the point? Now thing is that now this material civilization, this old body which cannot be improved, this diseased body which cannot be improved, for that to improve that, lot of research is going on, and with very less what we call in prognosis. Prognosis in medical term is what's the recovery rate, what's the quality of life. One can be alive, a person in a coma also can be alive, can be kept on ventilator and technically is living. But is that what living means? So this is again an example of how this medical science, even though so much advancement they claim, how it is just a backtracking. It's the increase of misery only. So that's what Srila Prabhupada is mentioned here, that there is no end to the suffering in this material world. That's the real knowledge. And to do any effort to improve your stay in this temporary world is just futile. It's very useless endeavor. And to know, understand this, and to know that I'm not this body, I'm temporary here, like I'm dreaming. In dream, I'm taking some nightmare is there, so I'm suffering. Similarly, this suffering here, whether suffering of body and any type of suffering that we get, that is temporary, and I should not focus on that. I should focus on something else. And what that something else? That is Krishna consciousness. That is consciousness. And to know the real problem. And for that begins with one to identify the real problems of life that are mentioned in Bhagavad Gita is birth, death, old age, and disease. So birth nobody takes in this material world as misery, because everybody celebrates. Even a person becomes 80 years old, there is a 80th birthday celebration. They do more grand, in more grand way. Oh, person has become 80 years old. And 50th golden jubilee birthday, with great pomp and show, people celebrate that. So they will not agree that birth is misery. But rest three things nobody can deny. Everybody knows old age is there, that's misery. Disease, nobody says, no, I'm enjoying this disease. And death. Now, death, how it is misery? Death is like whatever endeavor person is doing whole life. Suppose I am trying to educate myself, trying to get admission in big universities, but no, I want it to continue. Okay, I have achieved it, so that should be with me. But after that death, who knows that education will be there with me. If same case, if you some person, a family man works so hard for wife, children, and who wants to leave that? That is a hard earned. That's a, what to say, so much blood and sweat has been put into to achieve that, to build that house, to maintain that wife, to maintain that family, to raise those children. Nobody wants to leave that. Even I don't know, it's like this is a naturally when we experience small things also. Suppose a student who is drawing a diagram in his journal and something goes wrong and somebody comes to know this was not, we were not supposed to draw this, we were supposed to draw something else, now you have to erase it. So even this small act of erasing that endeavor which you have put to draw that diagram also pinches, it pinches us. If I'm doing some embroidery, I'm making a, yesterday I was doing some embroidery on the dress I'm making for Lord, and that flower didn't come out good. And then I thought, okay, I should remove this, let me do it from beginning. But so much, from 1 hour I was trying to make that flower, and just with the scissor I just removed everything. So it there was a mild pinch in my inside. Oh, my 1 hour time is being lost. Oh, I wished I would have done nicely. This, there was some fruitful out of this 1 hour. So that is there. So nobody wants to have death, because after death, you all endeavors which you have done, this nobody knows what will happen about after death, because materialistic they don't know. They know only after death nothing. They don't want to think about it even. And disease, old age. So these three things are there, whether they agree birth is a misery or not. So until and unless one understands that these are the real miseries and how to come out of it, that is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, then only that is the uh, light out of ignorance. So we need to, there are multiple examples to make understand that how this scientists are just uh, without understanding, without finding the problem, if somebody works, how futile and how foolish it is. This whole material civilization, current civilization, is just more, is just mere foolishness. So I think we'll read ahead uh, from this verse, yeah, from this paragraph. No? Uh, any other devotee would like to read? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, shall I continue? No one is reading.
Yes,
Hare Krishna
Mataji.
Mataji. Hare Krishna, I will read Mataji.
Yeah, please read, Mataji. Yeah.
Thus, the Lord says that one should approach Him and go back to Him, back home, back to Godhead. But unfortunately, people have no knowledge of what God is, whether one can go back home to Him or not, and whether or not it is practical, because they have no knowledge. They are simply like animals. They pray, "O God, give us our daily bread." But now, suppose we ask them, "What is God?" Can they explain? No. Then, whom are they asking? Are they merely praying into the air? If I submit some petition, there must be some person to whom the petition is submitted. They say that God is in the sky, but there are also so many birds in the sky. Are they God? People have imperfect knowledge or no knowledge at all. Nonetheless, they pose as scientists, philosophers, writers, and great thinkers, although their ideas are all rubbish. The only truly worthwhile books are those like Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. In the Bhagavatam 1.5.10.11, it is said, Nayadvachaschitra hareryasho jagat pavitram pragranita karhichet Tadvayasam tirtham ushanti manasa nayatra hamsa niramanti ushikshaya. Those words which do not describe the glories of the Lord, who alone can sanctify the atmosphere of the whole universe, are considered by saintly persons to be likened onto a place of pilgrimage for cows. Since the all perfect persons are inhabitants of the transcendental abode, they do not derive any pleasure there. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Uh, shall I continue, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. Yeah. Read
Tad-
one more.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
thank you. तद्वाग्विसर्गो जनताघविप्लवो यस्मिन् प्रतिश्लोकम् अबध्वन्ति अति अभद्वन्वती अपि नामानि अनन्तस्य यशोऽङ्कितानि यत् शृण्वन्ति गायन्ति गृह्णन्ति साधवः. On the other hand, that literature which is full of descriptions of the transcendental glories of the name, fame, forms, pastimes, etc., of the unlimited Supreme Lord is a different creation, full of transcendental words directed towards bringing about a revolution in the impious lives of this world's misdirected civilization. Such transcendental literatures, even though imperfectly composed, are heard, sung, and accepted by purified men who are thoroughly honest.
So here now the solution ahead it goes. That Srila Prabhupada is mentioning now what how person once that and why when one will acknowledge oh these are the real problems of life. When one comes to that platform, the Bhagavad Gita Lord Himself is saying that how to get out of these problems is just coming towards me, just surrendering unto me. There is no interim place. Krishna is not saying that you go to some higher planetary system or you can go to heaven. So Krishna is just saying attaining after attaining me. That means Krishna, just Krishna is only the solution to get out of this problem. So now here it comes that the fruitive workers they work very hard. They think they are pious also. They may be following all the Vedic shastras also, but they don't want to attain Krishna. They are looking something in this material world only, and that may be very good in terms of material world, but actually nothing is good in this material world because that is temporary, and it is like after um, if you uh, get opportunity to have feast for 1 month continuously and on the 31st day you have been given something very bitter, so that bitter will taste bitter even after from past 30 days you were relishing most delectable delicacies. This material world is like that. Even somebody gets earns to be in higher planetary systems, even in Brahmalok, their life is very, very relatively long compared to here in this Mrityu Lok. But still, that when it will be exhausted, those pious fruits of those pious activities, karmas will be exhausted. One need to rotate in this material world, and then nobody and everybody wants constancy. If things are constant, then whatever it is, then one relishes it. Otherwise, there is always a fear factor. Oh, am I going to lose it? How long I will be here in this situation? My situation should not deteriorate. That fear is always there in this material world. But Krishna is saying, after attaining me, One will never return to this temporary world. That means Krishna's word, Krishna's abode is constant. And that's the something desirable by all. Why? Because we are constant. We are soul. We are eternal. Krishna is eternal. We are part and parcel of Krishna. We are also eternal. That's our nature. We never relish. We are bound to be miserable if things are temporary. So, and then that the solution to get out of this problem is to approach towards Krishna. That means to be conscious of Krishna. But now people, and this example of what Prabhupada is writing, that here people doesn't know. People acknowledge how some God is there, some external, some higher power is there. Who's some people that know also, and they look towards sky, but not knowing exactly what who God is. And this happened like my daughter, she went to a music class, and there one of a co-student there, that one girl, actually she got tattooed the name of Lord Ram on her neck. So my daughter asked her, that girl, that, oh, you have tattooed it, Lord's name. So she said, yeah. So my daughter then asked her that means you are devotee of Lord Ram. You are having a lot of faith on Lord Ram. So she said, somewhat. I don't know. Because everybody is having, I've heard that people are having faith on Lord Ram. So I also thought, let me have. Then another girl, she came in the scene and then she said, why you have tattooed Lord Ram? He's not good. He left his wife in forest without any reason. It's better to tattoo the name of Ravana. Now this is a state of people, ignorance of people which people are having regarding God. Even people are knowing that okay, there are temples, they're visiting temples of Lord Ram, they're visiting temples of Radha Krishna, but they're not knowing at all anything what they are doing. And until unless one knows how it's going to help anybody. And this is a state in our Bharat Varsh. Many people claim, oh, we feel pride. Oh, we know Lord Ram, we know Lord Narsimha, we know Vaman Dev. There are many festivals also come. People just like rituals. People perform so many pujas also, visit pilgrimage also. But without any knowledge, what you are doing, how it's going to fetch any fruitful result out of it, how anybody is going to fetch any fruitful result out of it. So, and now that's the next paragraph. Prabhupada is writing that that's the point where comes that Srimad Bhagavat and Bhagavad Gita will give knowledge to people that who is Lord Ram, who is Krishna, what are temples meant for, what is our Vedic culture, why I'm doing this, why my mother was doing that, why my grandmother was doing that. And then with that knowledge, one can really do that activity and just reach the abode of Lord Krishna. So, how important these literatures are. And even if one is reading Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, then any profession in so-called material profession one may be, because until and unless we are in our soul, but we are engaged in this body, we have to work according to our swadharma. We have to work in this material world. Everybody has to work for existence. So some may be in any field of life work one may be engaged in, but until and unless one has this knowledge of from Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, that all knowledge, that mundane knowledge, is useless because you are misdirected. You don't know why you are living. You are, suppose somebody is engineer, somebody is scientist, somebody is doctor. Then doctor, when doctor knows, when doctor is a devotee, knows the knowledge of having knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, then He's working for the diseased body. He's trying to, but he knows his limitation, and he's having that consciousness that anything I am doing, this energy, this when even medicines given by doctor will understand. Oh, this medicine is also vibhuti of Krishna. This is energy of Krishna, and he doctor knows the limitation. Scientist knows that this is what I'm trying, but actually this is the knowledge of Krishna, and with that knowledge, with this knowledge, then every knowledge that you do in this material world, that is now you can know how to use in service of Krishna. So everything become like um, very everything becomes same, and everything become transcendental actually. Same student who is studying with knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, he knows by this knowledge in this material world, I'm going to work, I'm going to become an AI scientist, or I'm going to become a venture capitalist. But when he is knowing the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, that knowledge becomes same as Bhagavad Gita, because now you are using that knowledge, that mundane education also, that mundane work also in Krishna consciousness. So to have this knowledge is basis. With this knowledge, everything is complete. But with this knowledge, everything is zero. So it's like Prabhupada says in his lectures that if zero is there, when we add one in front of it, it becomes 10. But without one, zero is zero. There's no value of zero. And if you add more numbers in front of, if one is there and you add more zeros, then the value increases. It becomes 100, it becomes 1,000, it becomes 10,000, 1 million, 1 trillion, many trillions, many, it increases. But without that one, everything is zero. So this Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita is that one. And that one is most foremost important. Then every zero will get some value out of it. Otherwise, there is no value. So now in this Srimad Bhagavatam verse, this is 1.5.10.11, where Narad Muni is instructing Vyasadeva. See, that means any literature, anything that doesn't describe glories of Lord, that means any mundane knowledge without any knowledge of Lord is useless, because it will not solve your real problems of life. It will increase only the problems of life. The problems of life are birth, old age, disease, and death. These are the problems. And any person who is saintly, now saintly, there is a definition of it. Saintly is what? Saintly one person is the one who knows what is my relationship with Lord. Who is Lord? Who am I? And what I should do, what I am meant for. That's the definition of saintly. Without that knowledge, one cannot become saintly. One can pose as saintly, okay. One can become, okay, I'm very truthful. But what's the value of that truth in this mundane terms when there is no knowledge of God? Actually, this truth, um, uh, honesty, dishonesty, these dualities are existing. Actually, truth is that anything that you do to satisfy Lord is truth. That is good. Because in transcendental platform, these dualities are not there. Good, bad, uh, untrue, true. So these are applicable here only. So all saintly persons, no saintly person will go to the pilgrimage for, because crow always sits in a dirty place. And the people who are not having knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and from Srimad Bhagavatam, and this gives the knowledge of who is Krishna and what Krishna wants us to do. They are like crows. And no saintly person would like to be in that place where crows, that's the pilgrimage for crows. And all the literatures which are full of description of the transcendental glories of Lord, literatures like Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. So you'll get what, who is Lord, who am I, who is then they, even though technically they may not be so in uh, perfectly composed, even though it's very perfectly composed. Vyasdev has composed, uh, and of course Bhagavad Gita is spoken by Lord on himself, and Bhagavatam is also composed by Vyasadeva. But still, if they are, it is not perfectly composed. If somebody is writing, mm, say for example, even what to say of this literature, if somebody is very good artist and painter and doing a lot of modern art and drawing this and that, but without any knowledge of Krishna, and a child who is just a very novice, even just doesn't know how to hold pencil properly, but he, with his scribbling also, he tries to draw the face, the transcendental form of Krishna. So that novice and very uh, imperfect work is also having sublime value compared to art made by a very renounced artist devoid of any knowledge of Krishna. There are very modern artists like M.F. Hussain. His paintings are worth millions of dollars. But what's the value? It's not going to get him out of this cycle of birth and death. So that's what, like, these literatures, even not properly imperfectly composed, but they are relished by purified men. Those who are saintly, those who are self-realized, those who know that we are part and I'm servant of Krishna and Krishna is supreme. Krishna is a person uh, who is having form, who is having who relishes the transcendental mellows with his devotees, and they are who are thoroughly honest. You know, this word thoroughly honest is very important here. What the honesty means? If some honesty means just to honest to your true self, and we have to understand that I'm honest. Am I really enjoying? The people who are not Krishna conscious, they're even not acknowledging that they are doing something worthwhile. Even happiness, they're not acknowledging. They try to be happy. They live very opulent life, materially opulent, good clothes, going to vacations, posting so many pictures on social media that I'm cooking this, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But in core, are they acknowledging that I'm not, something is void in me? Like Vyasdev is incarnation of Lord himself, but he composed so many literature, so many shastras, Vedas, everything. But still, he's honest because he's saintly. He's uh, not like materialist people. He's honest. You know, I'm not satisfied with my work, even though I have done such a great work, but I'm not satisfied. But the person who is not Krishna conscious will never be honest. He'll try to feel, even though that uh, there is a distress, there is an emptiness, but still people pose that they are happy. So we'll read ahead. 10 minutes or more, we can read one more paragraph. Anybody would like to read? Or else I can read. Hare Krishna. Okay, so I'll read one more paragraph. Any
May I
literature
read,
that
Mataji? May I read? Hare Krishna.
have
Okay,
you
Hare
want,
Krishna.
you can read, yeah.
Any literature, no, Mataji? Hare Krishna.
Yes, yeah.
Any literature that has no connection with God is just like a place where crows take enjoyment. Where do crows enjoy? In a filthy place. But white swans take pleasure in nice clear water surrounded by gardens. So even among animals, there are natural divisions. The crows will not go to the swans, and the swans will not go to the crows. Similarly, in human society, there are men who are like crows and men who are like swans. The swan-like men will come to centers of Krishna consciousness where everything is clear, where there is good philosophy, good transcendental food, good education, good intelligence, everything good. Whereas crow-like men will go to clubs, parties, naked dance shows, and so many other such things. Should I continue, Mataji?
Yeah, one more paragraph.
Okay, okay. So the Krishna consciousness movement is meant for swan-like men, not for men who are like crows. But we can convert the crows into swans. That is our philosophy. Those who were crows are now swimming like swans. That is the benefit of Krishna consciousness. Okay.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
So, Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you. So, here Prabhupada is now this elaborating this that same verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, that like same minded people, same type of people mingle with each other. You'll never find crows and swans together. Similarly, in this material world also, in humans also, there are there are multitudes of even human beings are there, but there is a difference in the consciousness, and the different type of people according to their consciousness they congregate together. You never find somebody who is very different in consciousness and different in nature mingles with different types. There are the social clubs, those people who are together, they are just because their consciousness is same. And this we as we all are in now trying to practice Krishna consciousness, trying to be Krishna conscious and following the devotional service and rules and regulations of Vedic Bhakti. So we must have also experienced this in our life. Earlier, before coming to Krishna consciousness, our friends, our family, our relatives, the way we used to live, now the same way we want to live together with them, we'll find ourselves different. And they'll also find ourselves different. So, because our now consciousness is different, what they are, their aim is different, they may be very much materialistic, engrossed in all fruitive activities. So, but Prabhupada is saying that those who are doing Krishna conscious, they are swan-like because they are clean. And swan is very clean, and swan will never go to filthy place. Swan swims on a very clear water. And those who are taking Krishna consciousness, they are intelligent people, most intelligent, because they are not in ignorance. They have acknowledged why I am suffering, what are the real problems of life, what should I do. And the process of Krishna consciousness is such scientific and sublime that just following this process, there is no extra endeavor required to correct your gross bad habits. So this example Srila Prabhupada has given, I think, in Nectar of Instruction, that any boy, a young boy who joins Krishna consciousness, starts following the four regulative principles. So naturally, he is engaged in some positive activities of devotional service. He attends Mangala Aarti, he does seva in temple, then he takes partake prashadam, he does kirtan, he reads shastra. So all the bad habits of like smoking, um, going to clubs, going to just go after women, all these things which are very common in young boys, and many other notorious activities, drinking and many other. That the boy naturally gets out of it. There's no extra endeavor is required. The boy doesn't need to go to any de-addiction camp to get out of the habit of smoking or to take some medical treatment or how to not be after means in young age when boys are very young, girls are very young, they need to focus on their studies, but that age is like that, they just get attracted towards opposite sex. Now this becomes hindrance in that they even they know that they should not do, but they are unable to control that, and They harm themselves, their career, their life. But a person who comes to Krishna consciousness, same age person, young person, a teenage person, following Krishna consciousness, is able to do get out of all this nonsense and be able to study properly and focus properly. And then he knows also what's the purpose of his studying. He'll make that study also as a devotional service. So that is what that Prabhupada is saying, that we, this Krishna conscious movement is can make crows to swan. It is so potent, so scientific. It's not sentimental. It's so scientific. Sentiments are of course there, because without sentiment one can become feel like a robot. But it's the philosophy. It is such a package that it will completely clean one from top to bottom. Internal, external, everything. Your thinking, everything will be cleaned completely. So that's what Prabhupada is mentioning here, that it is so scientific. And means it can convert crows to swan. And the moment one comes in the contact with this Krishna conscious movement, he'll become swan. And he comes in company on swan, he'll never go back to crows. But once if he's not one person is not careful about that, if one that's why the association is being mentioned about the devotee association is very important in our practice of Krishna consciousness. Because we need to congregate with swan like people. If we congregate with crow like people, we'll again become crow. So I think we are done for today. That's the benefit of Krishna consciousness. So we'll end here today. Anybody would like to add something? Share some points on some realizations regarding what we read today. It's welcome.
Hare Krishna Mataji, there's another similarity to crows and swans. It's like flies. There's a fly sit on dirt, but bees sit on honey.
Yeah.
When we're reading that, that came to my mind, Mataji. My Guru Maharaj told me. So
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
be like a bee. Be like a. Don't be like a fly. Be like a bee. Sort of sharing with your.
Yeah. That's there. Yeah. And bee seeds and means even if you see butterfly, butterfly is looking for nectar. If
Yeah.
butterfly always go on very good fragrant flowers, never
Mm.
sit in places.
Yes,
So
Mataji.
what I'm just feeling. That means butterfly is looking for nectar, and when we knows that the real nectar is Krishna consciousness, real nectar is Krishna. When we knows come to understand that there is no nectar in this material world apart from Krishna.
Yeah. He finds a nectar
Then
only from flowers.
we have to sit where we have to focus. We have to
Yeah.
focus on fragrant flowers,
Yes,
and this
Mataji.
flower is just this science, this process of Krishna consciousness, this bhakti yoga. We need to focus on that.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll end here today.
Okay, Mataji.
Yeah. Thank you very much for joining and listening to me. And thank you for all of you to giving me association in reading Srila Prabhupada
Thank you,
books.
Mataji.
Thank you very much.
Mataji, Hare Krishna. Then pranam.
Pranam. Vancha kalpitarubhyascha.
Rubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavevo namo namah.
Namo
Shri
Namaha.
Bhakti ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah. Hare Krishna.